Being a mom doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. Welcome to Thriving by Surviving, the Working Mom Show, where real moms share how they turn their passion into a career, not just for success, but for a life with more freedom and family time. This podcast is here to inspire you and to take the leap, because moms can follow their dreams. Welcome every mom who's listening to us, the Working Mom Show. My guest today is Teresa Ramirez, a remarkable mom who raised two amazing sons on her own while juggling a full-time job and earning her bachelor's degree. As the CEO and founder of Journey in Kindness, Teresa is on a mission to inspire families to raise kind kids through simple everyday activities. Her story of resilience, organization, and creating ripples of kindness is one you won't want to miss. So, welcome, Teresa.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Your story is amazing. I can't wait to hear the details. So, basically, my first question is, as a mom to another mom, I have three kids, a bit younger than yours, but still. How did you manage to keep going when your days, I guess, felt like endless with work, education, kids? Tell me the secret,
Oh my
please.
goodness. I do. My kids are older, but I remember those days when you're just dragging and I'm like, and there's still 100 things that you need to do that in the day. I think the most important thing is to be kind to yourself. And if that means getting up 15, 20 minutes earlier so you have that quiet time, just you and your tea or cup of coffee, I think that's huge. But I present the framework. So what works best for you? Maybe when you do get everybody settled down and in bed, take that hot bubble bath or make sure you're taking that time to meditate or pray, whichever you do. Those are just some ideas I have, but I'm sure your moms have ideas, well, this would work better for me. I need a job. Okay. If you can fit that in, fit that in. But it's getting up a little earlier, maybe staying up a little later, but then you have that quiet time. I know one mom told me, she goes, what worked best for me when I came home from work and everybody jumps on you. She said, I need 15 minutes. And she would go into her bedroom for 15 minutes. And then she was refreshed, ready to go to face, the evening activities.
Absolutely. The
So like I said,
transition between,
whatever works for
work
the
mode
moms.
and mom mode, it's really important. But also during the day, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, still you need your minutes, right?
Yes, yes. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, and I'm going to stress this to your stay-at-home moms, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you have kids that nap, take a nap too. It's so important. Don't say, okay, they're down. I can do 100 things. You take, 10, 15 minutes for you.
Yeah, exactly. And tell me a little bit about your story. So you started to work, but you became your own boss immediately with the kids, or there was some you were corporate
No,
before, or how
it didn't
how
work
how
that
did
way at
you
all.
come to doing this job, what you do right now?
Well, yeah, it was a journey. Um,
I guess.
I worked in corporate America for 30 years, and during that time, I did finish my degree, and that was stressful because you're working full time, you're going to school full time, and you're full time single mom. Yeah, it was yeah. Don't want to ever.
Sounds a lot.
I
Yeah.
learned
Oh
a
my
lot,
God.
and I am who I am now because of all that. But still, I think back, going, "Oh my gosh, how did I ever do it?" And still raise great kids. But yeah, I did that. And when my parents were aging and needed assistance, I had to take early retirement from my job to care for them. So that was about a 5 year period as well. And they lived 2 hours from me. So
Mhm.
literally I lived here for 2 hours for half the week and with them for half the week.
Yeah, that's a
And
full-time job as well, right?
it was, and it was, I had to, yeah, it was very stressful and I couldn't keep up with my job. And I said, I'd rather just retire early and have, instead of you firing me, because that's where I was going to. It was too hard to split my focus, especially when you're driving back and forth and trying to work from their house versus,
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't work. So that's what I did. And during that time, there was a school shooting here in the States.
Hmm.
And man, we've got to do something. And I sat down and wrote a letter, and dear students, and I grieved with them and sympathized with them. then I said, you know what? There's something you can do. Be kind to that kid sitting alone at lunch. Go sit with them. If somebody's dropping books and pencils all over the floor, help them pick them up. Just be kind to your fellow students and treat them the way you want to be treated. And that's how this all came about. I did a 21-day kindness challenge back in 2019 and just went through the child's day. Who do you encounter during your day? And each day was a person. So could your parents, your siblings, to the bus driver, the carpool driver, to the principal, the teacher, the cafeteria worker. And they had to be kind to each one of those. And I think I rounded it out with being kind to the planet and being kind to animals. And I got to go talk to kids, and it was so much fun. But like everybody else, COVID hit,
Yeah.
and we all had to come home and stay there. And so we all got on social media. And that's where I realized how cruel parents were being to each other. And I thought, no, no, no. Your kids are reading this. And if they're reading it for no other reason to make sure you're not talking about them, but they're reading it and then they're thinking, okay, they're not talking about me, but if they can speak like this, so can I. And they do. No, no. And that's where I got the idea to make this parents CEOs of the family and really be intentional about philosophies and values you want to instill in your children.
Amazing. You mentioned social media, and it's so interesting to talking to you because when your kids were born, social media was, I guess, not a thing like it is now. Or I don't even know if there was Facebook at all or something. Maybe it started or something. But how do you think the world changed from the kindness perspective? Is it better because we have a lot more interaction online, obviously, and also the cruelty is very much there, but there is so much space for kindness as well, only just posting a nice picture or something, right? So
Yes.
how do you think this changed, and how do you think we can use social media actually to be kind to each other?
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword. The people can use it. You can use it like a lot of things for good or evil,
Yeah.
so to speak. But I encourage people to use it to be positive, to be kind, to be compassionate. You can get the word out. If somebody needs help, you can get the word out. If you are a housebound person that can't get out, social media is it. So you can interact with those people and let them know they're not alone. So those are all great things. But then you can also do the other side of the coin, which is what I encourage people to don't be negative. Don't be nasty. If it goes back to the old adage, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it.
Yeah. That's the best
So,
advice. Keep quiet
period.
and
End of
just keep it to
conversation. And,
yourself.
and as adults, we should know that, but we don't always think. And that's where I want to just remind parents and people are like, I've heard this, but are you practicing? Are you being intentional? And most of the time it's no, and it's very sporadic. They're acts of kindness, they're there, but they're not intentional. It's not daily. It's not making it as natural as breathing. And that's where you want to get to.
Yeah. What is your favorite, very simple activity for parents who want to teach kindness to their children? Where should they start it at all? I mean, I guess everyone has some kind of kindness, so it's not like from
Yes. Yeah, everybody has their thing, but we want to raise kind children. That's it, period. So start with your kids. Let them know you care. Let them know you love them. And that can start with something simple like sticky notes on their mirror. You're important. I appreciate you. With your spouse, same thing. On their coffee mug, put it on there before they leave for work. Your kid has the huge math test that they've studied for all week. Slip a note in their backpack that says, you've got this. Those are ways to set your children up for a good day. And it's easy and it doesn't cost anything.
It's so true, and these are amazing advices. I mean, we sometimes think of something big, right? So, oh, what should I
Yes.
do to be kind? And it's just a post-it note. Everyone has it, right? Everyone has it somewhere.
And I'll give you an example. The simplest, easy peasy way thing you can do is smile and say hello.
Yeah.
And I got a great story about a gentleman who retired and got bored to tears. So he went to work in a parking garage. He's a parking garage attendant. And best job he ever had, he says. He loves it. But he went on vacation for 2 weeks. When he came back, his customers are like, "Where have you been? My last 2 weeks have been horrible because I missed you. Always started my day off. You say good morning and you smile. Have a great day." He goes, "I look forward to that. And when I didn't have it, my day just went down the drain." And the guy, he was so funny. He was so funny. He says, "You kindness lady, you always told me it was so simple." And he said, "I didn't quite believe it until I had the example happen to me."
Yeah.
It is that simple.
And I think that just like, hate, it fires back. So kindness is firing back. You immediately feel better if you help someone or talk to someone or just ask some questions, how are you? Or on the street or something. So it immediately fuels you up as well. So it's like instant. You don't have to wait for the results, right?
Right, right. And there's studies. There are studies out there that prove that there are studies that prove that if you and I exchange um, an act of kindness, our serotonin levels go up, our
Yeah.
oxytocin levels go up. Those are happy hormones. So from one act of kindness, you and I are pretty happy. And anyone that observed that, I always think this is fascinating, their happy hormones also go up.
Absolutely.
So
I immediately
yeah,
feel
so
it
if
with
you're
you.
feeling down, go be kind to somebody. It'll change the whole perception of your day.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned, which I think we should talk about a little bit more because it's super important, self-kindness. So,
Yes.
that's where everything starts, right? So when I
Yes.
teach moms to look through their careers and where they want to head at in their careers, I always ask them, what do you say to your children every day? You say that you can be everything, right? So go to the
Right.
mirror and please say it to yourself as well, because
Yes.
that's where it starts, right? And sometimes moms
Right.
start to cry because, no one tells them that. They always tell it to the kids. I do it as well. But sometimes
Uh-huh.
we have to do the same to ourselves to inspire ourselves and motivate ourselves and love ourselves, right? So we
Right.
sometimes really have to start inside and say kind things to ourselves, or as you said, we have to have these self-care moments, and sometimes it's really just a moment, right? So
Right. Yes, because that's all you've got. But yeah, it's absolutely because it's very difficult to be kind to someone else when your kindness tank is empty.
yeah,
So you
I
have to
100%
I'm
agree.
going to use the word intentional a lot. You have to be intentional about caring for yourself and filling up your kindness tank. And whatever that looks like for you, the 15 minutes, a quiet time, the bubble bath, the prayer, whatever works for you, that's what you have to focus on. And if you have to schedule it into your day, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. We always have to remind ourselves to that, right? Even if it's a
Yes.
calendar message or I guess there are applications as well that remind you to, or
Yeah, you can put it on your phone. Make your phone saver that says "I am important."
yeah,
Uh, you know, put something on. They have those pens now that write on glass and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Write a message to yourself.
yeah,
I
exactly.
appreciate you. You know, you you are awesome. Whatever, I am awesome. Switch it around to I,
Yeah,
so that when you read it, you're reading that to yourself. But yeah, write a message on the mirror and then erase it and change it up every week.
yeah. I mean, for those moms who love ChatGPT, just, ask ChatGPT to give
Yes.
you some hints,
Yes.
print it out and put it
Use
somewhere. Put it in your purse. When you pay something, you immediately have a nice
yes.
message or
Yeah.
something, right? So
Yeah.
it's
And
so
it can be,
easy.
I said your screensaver or, on your phone or on your computer. We have technology, use it. Chat GPT, great tool. I
Right?
use that
So
often. I use that myself quite often.
me too. I mean, it's you can, as you said, like social media, you can use it for good and for bad as well. But for these kind of tricks, you absolutely can use it, right? So it's
Yeah.
an
You've
amazing
got that,
tool.
for work, you've got that big presentation you have to do, and you've been working on it for months, and you're just stressing out about it. Put a message for yourself. I got this. I am awesome. People will love my presentation. Just anything like that. Just if you know, like I said, be intentional, plan ahead just a little.
Yeah, it's basically it's a mindset thing, right?
Yes, absolutely. But and then just remember that a lot of these things, what people, talk about mental health a lot, and you're depressed and your anxiety is really high as working moms.
Yeah.
And but being kind switches that up. And you will notice the more kind acts you perform, the less anxiety, the less depression that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I guess your sons grew up in this kind of environment, so like in a kind environment, but I
No,
guess you
I'm
had
going to
your
be
days.
honest. No. Yeah. And then they turned out, I was more of the random person. It wasn't intentional. And I thank God every day that despite my stress and anxiety that I had, they turned out to be amazing young men who do offer a lot of acts of kindness themselves.
Yeah, I
But
guess, but I
it's
guess
kind of
you,
like, I wish I knew then what I know now. So that's why I want to share with other working moms. You don't have to be stressed out and anxious all the time. There are solutions and ways, and reaching out to other moms. And if you do want to do a group activity, I did meet with a group of moms not too long ago, and they wanted to do some kind of joint community activity, and we just sat and brainstormed, what's good, what could they do without stressing everybody out. What resources did they have? And they ended up by doing a sock drive for the homeless. That's the number one thing homeless shelters ask for. So these women, and somebody had a bar so they could drop the socks off between this time on this day. And I forget how many thousands of pairs of socks that they collected, but that's just a group, mom. A group of working moms getting together, and they did do something big.
yeah,
But
that's
like I
amazing.
said,
Yeah.
you work up to that, and they worked together, so one person didn't have too much on their plate to make that
Exactly.
happen.
So it doesn't need much time to be kind, right?
Yeah,
And I
it
think
doesn't.
we can learn a lot from children as well because kids have more intention to be kind. You know, they are not like messed up like adults and they have that, negative experiences. So can you remember like one or two act of kindness from your own sons that melted your heart back then?
Yes, I will tell you. My oldest son, um, worked at a restaurant through his early 20s, and they had a big banquet hall, and they needed him to go to the banquet hall and work the banquet, and it was downtown. And he did a marvelous job, and they gave him like a huge, amazing tip. And so he was all happy, and he's walking 1 in the morning. Think about this, moms. Think about this. 1 in the morning through the streets of downtown, and think of any downtown at 1 in the morning. And someone approached him and asked him for money. And he said, "Yeah, man, here." And I don't know how much he gave the guy, I never asked. But I was blessed, so I'm going to bless you. And I'm thinking, this is great. But the mom side of me going, holy, anything could have happened to this guy. But it just melted my heart that he wanted to bless somebody else because he had been blessed. So, and that's the whole thing with a kindness. It does create those ripples. And you want to focus, just don't do the big thing, just focus on your little corner of the world, create that ripple of kindness. And if we're all focusing on our own corner, those ripples are going to eventually merge and create a wave of kindness that watches across the country and around the world. And that's the big picture. But all you need to do is focus on just your little corner.
Yeah, I think your work is so much needed. It's such a niche and, and it's really needed. Where can people find you if they, want to intentionally do something or learn how to, what kind of opportunities there are to be kind? Because I think everyone knows one or two things, but to be intentional or have a program or participate in something, are there any offline or online programs that you do? Or YouTube? You have also a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, I have my YouTube channel and it's Journey in Kindness with Teresa Ramirez. There's also journeyandkindness.com. So if you need to like to reach out to me, if you're in the States, I am open to speaking anywhere in the United States for 2025. I'm thinking of expanding that beyond 2025, but right now I'm speaking to whatever group, whatever moms groups, organizations, schools. I'm doing that at this time. And I do want to offer your audience a free list of 75 acts of kindness.
Oh,
And it's just
that's
where,
amazing. Thank you in the name of our
if you
listeners.
don't know where to start with the list. And you can even, and it does kind of graduate from the easy peasy to the bigger planting trees to be kind of the planet kind of thing. But you and your kids can sit down and say, okay, which one you want to do today?
Yeah.
And that can be your like Saturday morning activity if you don't have all the other extracurricular activities going on. Yeah, just something to do
Amazing.
that.
Yeah, we will put all
Yeah.
the links in the video and in the podcast. So everyone who couldn't remember what you said with the
If you're
website
driving
and
in the car,
everything,
you don't worry about it.
they will find you. I make it sure they will find you. So let's go back to the to your parenting journey a little bit. So
Oh, yes.
because it's it's not easy to be a single parent and to go to
No.
school and be a working mom. So if you could describe your parenting journey in just three words, what would that be for you?
It was stressful. I'm sure you can already,
That's
I
an
remember
honest answer.
it's stressful, but it is the most wonderful time in your life, in the lives. And I think about that with my sons. It's a wonderful time. And they grow up so fast. I think, I'm sitting here, they're 30. And I'm laughing, going, yes, but I remember when they were 8 and 10, and just enjoy the parenting journey. Don't get so hung up on, well, this has to be perfect and that has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. So yeah, because I think I got hung up on that. I got hung up on that a lot. I have since no longer strive for perfection. It is just
I
going.
think
Yeah.
we grow a lot during our motherhood journey, right? So every
Yes.
mom who can let it go at one point to be
Let
perfect,
it go. You're going to
that's
be happier and your kids are going to be happier.
that's the recipe for happiness, I
I
think.
remember one of my favorite things my kids did if I got up, if I was on intentional, I would get up and play a song that in the morning just to get us up and get us moving. And it had a great beat and it was wonderful. And the kids loved it. They thought that was the greatest thing ever. I couldn't do it every morning, but that was one thing that just worked for my kids and it helped them move and get ready and think, okay, this is okay.
Uh,
That math test isn't so scary now.
yeah, looking back, it seems so easy, right?
Right.
I
Yes.
also want to mention that you have an award-winning book, right?
Yes, I do. Where's my
So
book?
can you show us?
Yes, yes,
Wow.
here it is.
Raising
It's
Kind
Raising
Children.
Kind Children, and it is
Where can people
available.
find it? Like in stores or Amazon or?
It's available on Amazon. And I think we'll post the link for this as well.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's
absolutely.
the great thing about it is it's short and sweet. And it's I created the process to make it easy for busy moms.
Hmm.
So don't say, oh, another mom book. No, it's short and sweet, and it's just easy tips on how to be kind, making it as natural as breathing. And then it gets into being kind in those sticky, awkward situations. If you're making it as natural as breathing, it's going to be easier to be kind when you're faced with one of those situations.
Can you give just one hint from the book, like you said, in those very bad situations? How can
I
you
can give
be
you a bad
kind?
situation.
Mention one.
Well, and this is, I'll use this because it's something I want people to remember is that personal pain is as unique as a fingerprint, and you never know what someone's going through. And I had a great example is I was out to lunch and the server comes up. They were busy. The server comes up and says, "What do you want?" And I'm like, and we're like, "Well, we have a couple questions." "I don't know. I was told to come take your order. What do you want?" Like, okay. So we gave our order. Everything came and it was fine. She left. I'm not sure she said 2 words the whole time. Left the bill. We paid and I did tip her. And my friend and I are discussing, do we call the manager over? And I said, no. I wrote on my receipt, "You are designed to shine." And I put a smiley face on it. And I did tip her and gathered our stuff, walked out. She chased us into the parking lot with tears. She said, "Thank you. I needed to hear that today." I have no idea what happened before she walked in the door. But that's where instead of reporting her, we turned it into an act of kindness, and it changed her entire day.
That's amazing again, because
Yeah.
you either put some more weight on a person
Mm-hmm.
unintentionally,
Yes.
or because you are angry, or you
Yes.
say that, okay, I turn my angriness into kindness, right? And I
Exactly.
guess you walked away as well, even though if she wouldn't chase you, right? Even though if it has no impact,
Yes.
or you don't know the impact in this
Right. Right.
situation, because it could happen that she just silently throws it out, or
Yeah.
whatever, or
Yeah.
just
Because you
smiles,
think about it,
but you
it's
don't
not
don't
normal
know,
for
yeah.
people to chase you down.
Yeah, but you don't know the result of your kindness, even though you don't know the result, you still feel better, and you walk away not like, you don't remember the thing, oh, it was a bad dinner or something,
Right.
bad experience, but you turn your anger into kindness, and that's amazing, because uh, I think working moms need that a lot, right?
Yes,
We
I
have
do.
in a lot of these situations, either with the kids, they make a mess, and just very easy things, or they don't act like we want them to sometimes,
Yeah.
or they have a tantrum,
God,
with small kids. I mean,
they
we
have
get
their own
in.
little minds.
Yeah, or we get into a lot of situations with teachers, because of the kids, or we have lots of these pain points, as you said, and even though if we don't know the result of our kindness, it still makes us better. So the result is also that we are feeling better, right?
Right. And I share another story. When my kids were little, my youngest was about 4, and we're in the grocery store and he throws a temper tantrum. I'm like, jeez. And one of those
My
days, I
kids never
just
had
want
that.
to get through the grocery store. So I pick him up and throw him in the car. He's screaming through and you're all been there, screaming through the whole thing. I get to the checkout. My oldest is like has his hand on the cart, just kind of like this thing. But I get
Embarrassed.
there, and as I'm walking out the door, a gentleman stopped me and said, "You're doing a really good job." That made all the difference in the world, because at that point I'm just ready to burst into tears. And so
In,
yeah.
yeah,
So
in
that's
this
all it took.
situation.
That's
Yeah.
all it took. And you can do that for other moms too.
Yeah. Because especially in this situation, and please let me know if any mom is out there who haven't experienced this. I don't believe you if you say your kid were not doing this. So
Yeah,
everyone who experienced, it's so embarrassing, because it's loud, and it's,
yes.
we all know how it is.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm not beating him, I swear.
yes, this is not my kid. I don't know who that is. And in this situation, I think out of 10, 9 times, people are very judgmental, right? Very
Yes, yes.
what kind of mom she is. She didn't give her, I don't know, food, or why
Right, right.
care to bring your kid into the supermarket, why you bring your kid to the supermarket at all, these kind of things. And also other people who have kids, right? Moms or parents or
Right.
others, we like to judge each other for some reason.
Yes.
Perhaps we make ourselves better looking that way, right? I wouldn't
Yes.
do this or
But
I
don't do
wouldn't
that.
do that. And it's so much better to turn this not into judgment, but into kindness, right?
Yes. And it's so important for moms to support each other.
Yeah.
No one understands what you're going through better than another mom.
Yeah.
And so be supportive of each other.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Just smile and, be
Yes.
understanding or say, I had this yesterday
Yes. Yeah,
situation,
that was
or I
mine.
will have it tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. So basically, to wrap it up, kindness can be practiced everywhere, every time, all through the day, all through the life, right? So with motherhood, on the workplace, everywhere, right? It's
Right.
not that difficult. And I guess who listens to this already has some inspiration and some ideas, and sometimes you don't even recognize, oh, I was kind, right? So really this post-it thing. You know what I did with my kids sometimes when I packed the school lunch for them? If you have
Yes.
a banana, with a toothpick, you can just write on it, right? And it
Yes.
will show up
Yes.
later because it ripes or something. So I sometimes just scratched "I love you" or something like I don't know, "Have a great day" or something like that.
Yes.
And when they opened it, like 1 or 2 hours later, they just saw it and they were so happy and they were coming back. Oh, mommy, please make us a banana next day as well. And this is really a small thing, but you can make your kids' school day special, or with just a banana, right? It's nothing. It's a very
Uh-huh.
everyday tool that we have, everyday usage, and and you can make your kids' day so much better if she or he has a hard school day or something.
Right.
So there are so many tips really out there, and it's very important to not only to listen to them but practice them. So I encourage everyone who is listening, just to write down on a post-it or somewhere just 3 or 4 kind activities that you can practice even today or tomorrow, or start whenever you want, with your neighbor, with your kids, with your parents, with your friends, and it will fire back in a very positive way.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And download the free checklist of 75 acts of
Absolutely,
kindness.
absolutely. So, Teresa, now we are getting to the hard part. Everyone who listens to this podcast know that we have some quick fire questions about motherhood and things like that. So just answer whatever you think on this moment.
Okay.
Um, so you as a working mom, going to school, single mom, what was the craziest multitasking moment you had as a mom?
Oh my gosh. First of all, don't ever multitask. It's not good. It's not good.
It's not healthy,
I
right?
think it was trying to study. And so I tried to set it up so they're doing their homework and I'm doing my homework, and that works. It did not work at all. And my kids are asking questions, and I think my oldest said, "Stop! I need you." And he threw my books off the table. So it was like, yeah, multitasking does not always work.
It's not always healthy to do.
It sounded really great in theory.
Yeah.
We'll all do our homework.
As a lot of mom things, right?
Right.
Okay, next one. If you had a mom escape button, where would it take you?
Oh my gosh. It would have taken me to the beach. Absolutely. Just take me to the beach. Let me just walk in the waves.
I guess you would meet a lot of other moms there with the mom
Yes, I
escape
know.
button. Okay. Do you have a work-life mantra that keeps you going every day?
You know, that, when I was raising my kids, my mantra was, this is all about them. This is all about them. Today, it's just, I get up and I get to teach and spread kindness every day. And I can't get any better than that. I wish I've been doing this for years.
Yeah, exactly. So the last one, and then I let you go. What's the worst piece of advice you received about balancing work and life? or work and family.
That you can multitask. That's not true. You can multitask, but if you're trying to do that, you're not giving your all to any one thing, and it doesn't really,
I think
it doesn't. In
success
the end, you're failing everybody.
yeah.
So just focus on one thing at a time, take lots of deep breaths, and it's going to be okay.
And be kind.
And be kind.
Okay, Teresa, thank you so much that you were here with us today and taught us so much tips and advice about being kind and how to be kind. And thank you so much for all the inspiration that all listeners have now. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in to the Working Mom Show. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe and follow for more real talk on motherhood and career. And be sure to check out the episode description for links to my guest website and socials. See you next week.